Totally powerless. The powerless president. This guy has no juice. And it's got to hurt. It's got to hurt. It really is bad for America. We want a president to be powerful if they're pursuing the right goals. So I don't know if I actually want this guy to be powerful, but it's kind of pathetic. He can't do the big things. He can't even do the small things, like this Brittney Griner character. This player is in all kinds of trouble over there in Russia. She got 9+ years in a Russian prison for having marijuana with her. Brittney, who's not a big fan of America, is very sorry now.
I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling that it doesn't end my life here. I want to apologize to my teammates, my club, Gimka, the fans, and the city of ECAT for my mistake that I made and the embarrassment that I brought onto them.
Look, I would like to see her brought home. She's an American. I don't agree with her politically, but I want our Americans to be in America, even if they blow off the Pledge of Allegiance, even if they blow off the national anthem. Now, the Pledge of Allegiance, before the world went crazy 2 years ago, it unified us, right? We're one country. And then Black Lives Matter happened, and Brittney and her teammates, whenever they heard that song, they would just walk out of the arena. They would just walk away. Still, it's America. You can believe and do whatever you want within the law. Joe Biden is on the case, or is he? He put out a very harsh statement, or I don't know if it's harsh. It is what it is. Russia is wrongfully detaining Brittney. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. My administration will continue to work tirelessly and pursue every possible avenue to bring Brittney and Paul Whelan, a former Marine, home safely as soon as possible. Tirelessly? Joe Biden, you shouldn't be bringing up anything about endurance. You're Sleepy Joe. Come on. Don't pretend that you have this amazing endurance. Look, you need energy, and that's what Donald Trump had. Do you remember when A$AP Rocky, he's some rap guy, he got in trouble in Sweden? I don't think he had too much in common with Donald Trump, but he went all in behind the scenes and publicly on Twitter, as only Donald Trump can do, right? Give A$AP Rocky his freedom right now. And then he stuck it to Sweden. We do so much for you guys, but it doesn't seem to work the other way around. And finally, Sweden should focus on its real crime problem and free Rocky. This works, behind the scenes stuff. And now we actually want something from Putin. Forget Ukraine for a moment. I mean, I'll have a certain poll that's interesting in just a little bit. But first, it's good to have a president who has decent relationships with people you want stuff from.
But I do get along with President Putin. But I've been tougher on Russia than anybody else by far.
He gets along with Putin. That's a terrible thing. No, it's a good thing. If I get along, that's good. He likes me. I like him. Not so bad. And we get along. I like Putin. He likes me. You know, we get along. It's better. Isn't it? Wouldn't you say it's smart to get along? Okay? Smart.
It is smart. And you know who would benefit right now? A lot of people in the world. Ukraine, and also Brittney Griner. Joe he's not tough, so he has to talk tough and get himself into big holes and get us into big holes.
A war criminal, sir.
Oh, I think he is a war criminal.
Will you be meeting with him?
All right, Putin's a war criminal. You probably satisfied certain constituencies. You know, I think the penalty for being a war criminal in The Hague is death. You can't get him on the phone anymore after you say stuff like that. And this.
And it is Putin, it is Vladimir Putin who is to blame, period.
Putin has shattered peace in Europe and attacked the very, very tenets of rule-based order.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
All right. Yeah, sounds tough. It works, but you wouldn't have to be talking like this. America would not have to have this posture if President Trump were still in office. And 62% of Americans believe Putin would not have invaded Ukraine if Trump were still president. And I am one of those 62%. Hey, in the meantime, after what happened to Brittney Griner, stay out of Russia. No one was really going over there much anymore. I was there once in the mid-1980s. That is enough for me. I will not be going back. Staying in the USA, where we're supposed to be free. What does freedom really mean? Freedom of speech, right? You know about Alex Jones? Okay. I don't really watch his show or listen to his podcast all that much, but this is America and you can say what you want, right? Not really, no. Has judgment against him for a lot of money. My goodness gracious, take a look at this. Alex Jones ordered to pay Sandy Hook parents more than $4 million. Wow. I know he's a bit of a conspiracy theorist, but, you know, he's not the only one when it comes to certain conspiracy theories. There are a lot of people who believe that JFK was murdered by the CIA. You're allowed to think this kind of stuff. When it gets into Sandy Hook, I will not touch that with a 10-foot pole. I am really not familiar with his views. But at the same time, this is America, and you're allowed to say anything. And going into somebody's phone, what happened here? His lawyer turned over all of his text message for 2 years by accident. Listen to this.
Your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment.
I don't know what's going on here. Attorney-client privilege was violated, it seems to me, in the grossest possible way. Looking at somebody's text message for 2 years, it's like going into somebody's brain. So how did his lawyer do that? Why? Crazy stuff. And I don't think the judge was particularly fair at all. Did you hear her?
This is not your show. You need to slow down and not take what you see as opportunities to further the message you're wanting to further. And instead, only answer the specific and exact question you have been asked.
The guy's defending himself, right? I don't know. Every time anybody speaks, as the judge would put it, they further the message they want to further. Where did she go to law school? We'll see what happens on appeal. I don't think this is right. We'll see what happens. And enormous sympathy to anyone who's lost anybody to violence, especially a school shooting. But you're allowed to say what you want to say, I believe. All right, Betsy Ross. Hey, she created this flag. This is a shortened version somehow. Anyway, 13 stars in a circle. What could be wrong with this? Apparently, the FBI has a beef. Did you see what happened at the Christopher Wray hearings today? Christopher Wray, FBI director, challenged by the one and only Ted Cruz. Watch this.
Yesterday, it was reported that Project Veritas had obtained a copy of an FBI training material, which listed various symbols and themes which, in the FBI's estimation, were indicative of, quote, militia violent extremism. Now, these symbols weren't things like the Ku Klux Klan or the Nazi Party, which naturally would be symbols of that, but instead they included, rather astonishingly, patriotic symbols of our nation and our history. Included on this list is the Betsy Ross flag. Now, that's fairly remarkable that the Betsy Ross flag in the FBI's indication is indicative of militia violent extremism, because among other people who have been publicly alongside the Betsy Ross flag, we have President Barack Obama, who was sworn in directly underneath two Betsy Ross flags. But it's not just President Obama. We also have President Biden, who was sworn in under Betsy Ross flags. It's not just the Betsy Ross flag. Also on this list is the Gadsden flag as a symbol of violent extremism. Now, the state of Virginia has a license plate for the Gadsden flag, as do many other states. I think people would be astonished to find that having that license plate, the FBI indicates that you're a violent extremist. Also included on this is a text that I was particularly struck, is the Gonzales battle flag. Come and take it. As indicative of being a violent extremist militia. Well, I will self-report right now that every day in the Senate I wear my boots that have the Gonzales battle flag on the back of them.
He's terrific. He's fantastic. And those symbols on official FBI DHS warnings, the Betsy Ross flag and all the stuff, what did Director Wray say?
Director Wray, what are y'all doing? This makes no sense. Do you agree with this FBI guidance that the Betsy Ross flag and the Gadsden flag and the Gonzales battle flag are signs of militia violent extremism?
Well, Senator, I'm not familiar with the particular document you have behind you, and I'm not in the practice of trying to comment on documents that I haven't recognized.
Oh, you bureaucrat. The Federal Bureaucrats Incorporated, FBI. I saw that document on Twitter last night. This guy can't see it. It's one of the hottest stories on the internet. I never saw that. I will not be commenting. What a dodge. Ooh, and there's more of that. Much more of that.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. With inflation at its highest level in 40 years and interest rates skyrocketing, your retirement plans are in danger. Well, our friends at American Hartford Gold can help show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Yeah. If you call them right now, they have a special offer. They will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order. So don't wait. Call now. Here's the number. 866-935-4309. That's 866-935-4309 or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532. Thank you.